Yankees sweep the two-game set against the Toronto Blue Jays and improve on the season to 22-8. It has been a fun beginning to the year for the Yanks. They are now 6-3 versus the Toronto Blue Jays, which is key. I felt like last year a big reason why the Yankees weren't able to at least get that home game against the Red Sox was really just not playing all that well within the division. And Toronto is going to be one of the threats when it's all said and done. And the Yankees at this point, it's early, but they're ahead in the loss column by 7. So the Yankees are 22-8, whereas the Blue Jays are 17-15. So, and you've already played half your games with the Blue Jays. So in that sense, that's a good thing too. When you're the team that's leading by that much, you really don't want to play a full slate of games. Whereas like with Tampa Bay Rays, who are not nearly as talented as the Toronto Blue Jays, the Rays have a slightly better record than the Blue Jays, and the Yankees haven't played the Rays yet. So in some ways, the focus shifts to Tampa Bay, but they don't play them for a while. And I still think that Toronto is more of the threat. And these Blue Jay Yankee games are really fun to watch. Obviously, when you're on the winning side, even more so, but there's been a lot of intensity. The games have been close, pretty well played, and you can tell these teams don't like each other. And really, for me, and I guess really for anyone, the two main heroes of these two games, of course, Aaron Judge with the 3-run homer, walk-off homer in the first game, his first walk-off homer of his career, and he picked a pretty good time to do it. And then Gleyber Torres in the second game of the series with 5 RBIs, a really key 3-run homer, a very important 2-run single. So, Gleyber Torres accounting for all the Yankee offense in the second game. And the starters, Severino and Taillon, both got into some early trouble, but were able to, which is very underrated with the Yankees having a lot of games coming up, they were able to sort of get through it and pitch pretty deep into the game. Severino almost went 5 innings, which he could have been out after 2 innings. He was, pitching that poorly. And then Taillon got into some early, the first inning got into some trouble, but only gives up a run and gets the job done. So if you're a Yankee fan, it's definitely fun times. And I guess if you're looking at recent history, I guess because really 2020 was a weird season to begin with, but the Yankees got up to a strong start there very early on, but it was only a 60-game season, and really pretty quickly, Tampa Bay had a stranglehold on that division. Last season, of course, we know what happened. So this is, for the first time since 2019, but it's completely different. 2019 was very much of a next man up sort of thing, where the Yankees had a lot of injuries and the Yankees were getting a lot of contributions from players you wouldn't expect. This has been just a very solid crew so far, where they're staying healthy, and the pitching's been phenomenal. Absolutely fantastic. The only team that's been better is the Los Angeles Dodgers as far as pitching goes. The Yankees have just been tremendous, starting pitching and bullpen. And I still have my doubts with the offense, but they are doing the little things that are helping, and they're coming up pretty big in the clutch. And and the defense, although there were some sloppy moments in these couple games, the defense has been much better too. So, as far as the first game, it would be Kikuchi versus Luis Severino. And Kikuchi was someone that the Yankees have hit in the past, got to him a little bit the first time they faced him at Yankee Stadium, but he shut them down the last game at Toronto, and it was kind of more of the same. Kikuchi did really well, which was disappointing. The Yankees were no hit, I believe, through 5 innings in this one. And as far as the Yankee lineup was concerned, no Joey Gallo. So no Gallo. Donaldson was at DH, LeMahieu at third, Hicks was at the left, Judge in center, Stanton in right. And to start things out in the first, Severino, first batter, gives up a home run to George Springer. So the former Astro, Yankee fans, not too kind to George Springer, nor should they be. And Springer homers to make it 1-0 Blue Jays right away. Second inning, it would be a little bit more of the same. But for the Blue Jays, Alejandro Kirk gets a leadoff single. But really, Gleyber Torres should have made this play at second base. I don't know why it was ruled a hit. I think Gleyber would be the first to admit that he should have made the play, but that's what they called it. And then Matt Chapman walks. So it's first and second, and your big play of the inning is what turns out to be a two-run double by Santiago Espinal on a play that wouldn't have been easy for Aaron Hicks, but can you make a play, Hicks? Like, can you make a tough play? Because it wasn't like it went over his glove. It was to the side. He just, if he just moves over to his left, to his left, he might make that play. Instead, he tries to make this, ridiculous catch when it may not have been necessary. It was an easy play. And we'll talk about a play where Hicks was worse. But they actually ruled a home run on the field, but that was incorrect. They end up getting it right. It's a double, a two-run double. And so the Blue Jays take a 3-0 lead. And then it even became runner on third, one out. But good job by Severino, kind of as he did against the Royals in his last start, where it could have gotten ugly, but he keeps it at 3-0. And I felt like that was pretty big. And he kept it there for a while. He kept it there. And then the fifth, Severino comes out, and they bring in Miguel Castro, who does a really good job and actually strikes out all four batters not all four batters he faces, but he did hit Gurriel. But he does, the 4 outs that he gets are strikeouts. So Miguel Castro, really with very nasty stuff, he just needs to kind of sort of harness it. Does a really good job. And like I said, the Yankees were no hit through 5, but in the 6th, DJ LeMahieu gets them going. And LeMahieu, for me, he's just been very consistent from the beginning of the season. He has really been someone that you can trust. I prefer him bat leadoff, which he did in the first game. In the second game, Hicks led off. I don't like that idea. But LeMahieu gets a double. Then Judge gets an infield single on a play where Matt Chapman, I thought he was going to make the play, but he bobbled it. They rule it a single. And then Anthony Rizzo, it's a nice deep fly ball that maybe on another night goes out, but it's just a fly out. LeMahieu goes to third, first and third. Yimi Garcia comes on to replace Kikuchi, and you kind of feel bad for Kikuchi because Yimi Garcia gives up a 3-run home run to Giancarlo Stanton. Opposite field home run. Not many players can hit a home run like that. Stanton's got the strength to do that. And so it's his 7th home run of the year, a big game-tying 3-run homer for Stanton. And then things get really interesting. Josh Donaldson gets hit by a pitch, and I don't think this was intentional by Yimi Garcia. I understand that, the Yankees just tied the game up. I didn't think it was intentional. But he ends up getting ejected, which was a really bad job by the umpires. There was no warning. And, based on the situation, why would he want to hit Donaldson in a tie game? I mean, it didn't look good. I'll say that. It was a pitch that really was an obvious hit by a pitch. It wasn't like, it clipped him. Like, it was very inside and got him. But still, I didn't think it was on purpose. So Garcia is kind of unfairly ejected. David Phelps comes on, finishes out the 6th. We go to the 7th, and Jonathan Loaisiga pitches a pretty good 7th inning. Got in a little bit of trouble, but pitches a good 7th. And he starts the 8th, which I didn't quite agree with. Vlad Guerrero, who had given Loaisiga problems earlier in the year, he hit a home run off Loaisiga. I would have probably started Chad Green that inning, just personally. But Loaisiga walks Guerrero. And then Green, with 1 out, gives up an RBI double to Lourdes Gurriel. And this was a play where Aaron Hicks is just lollygagging to the ball. I mean, dude, run. Like, show some urgency. What have you done where you can do that? I mean, it's not essential for anyone to do that, but what have you done? And clearly, I think him in left field is not a great thing. Not that I think he's that good of a center fielder either. Aaron Hicks' game for me is just lacking in many, many ways. And for him to just really be lazy and not hustle for that ball is just – he's very lucky the Yankees won this game because no one, as far as I saw it, no one asked a word about it. No one asked anything about the Hicks thing. I have to think that someone would have asked about it got lost in the shuffle. So after that whole sequence, Gurriel goes to third as they try to throw Guerrero out of home or unsuccessful. So that's big too because then Alejandro Kirk gets a sacrifice fly. So it's 5-3 Blue Jays, and the Yankees look like they're probably in some trouble. In the 8th, they would have a chance, and Trevor Richards would come on to face Gleyber Torres, which was actually a matchup again in Game 2 where Torres won that matchup. But in Game 1, it would be Richards striking out Torres and made him look not so good. So we head to the ninth, and Wandy Peralta does a good job and keeps it at a 2-run game. Peralta pitches a scoreless ninth inning, so we head to the bottom of the ninth. Jordan Romano, the Blue Jays closer, who's done very well this season, did struggle a little bit in the last Yankee Blue Jay game in Toronto, but he did get the save in that one. He strikes out Isaiah Kiner-Falefa, who's back to struggling. Kiner-Falefa at the plate, defensively in game 2 is not so good. So not a great situation there where Kiner-Falefa was really very, very good, and now he kind of looks like he did the first week of the season. But the big at-bat is Jose Trevino, who came on. Joey Gallo had pinch hit for Higashioka earlier, and Trevino walks. And Trevino doesn't walk a whole lot, but Romano walks, in which you don't want to do that. And then LeMahieu walks as well, setting up the stage for Aaron Judge. First and second, 1 out, 5-3 game. And Aaron Judge, it's a really good at bat. He fell behind, but he stuck with it. And on the 6th pitch, hits a monster shot, 3-run homer, 10th home run of the season, which at that point, it might still, but at that point, it led Major League Baseball in homers, and Judge is the hero. His first ever walk-off homer. It was definitely long overdue. And really what a moment. And if you were at that game, I mean, that was a fun one to be at, I'm sure, with everything that happened, the Stanton homer and then the ejections and just, Yankees coming back twice. That says a lot. That really does. So against Jordan Romano, who has become one of the best closers in the league. So Aaron Judge gets it done. And the Yankees win at 6-5. And so you go into game 2 thinking, all right, you want to win it, but if you lose, you kind of understand. And it would have been perfectly fine, but not. But this Yankee team is different. They're not going to settle for mediocrity. They're going to get that win. And so they win this game, and it's their 7th straight series win. Very impressive. Their only series that was lost this year was against the Baltimore Orioles. Go figure. But Tyone would struggle in this one early. As far as the lineup, no Stanton, no Donaldson. And I didn't love that, but it ends up, everything the Yankees have been touching has been, turning to gold lately, so you can't complain. But it would be Stanton and Donaldson on the bench. Marwin Gonzalez was in right field. Judge DH'd. And so Jose Barrios was on the mound for the Toronto Blue Jays. And he pitched well to start as well, similar to Kikuchi, but then Barrios ended up, getting into some trouble. But in the first, leadoff walk to Springer by Tyone, Bichette singles first and third, and then Vlad Guerrero's hit by a pitch. So it's bases loaded. And Teoscar Hernandez hits a ground ball to LeMahieu. They get the force at second, but that was all they get. I wouldn't have, in a bases loaded situation, I wouldn't have minded LeMahieu trying to go to home to get that out of home. But I understand the first inning, and he thought he could get the double play. Like, if he goes home, he will not get the double play. He thought, let me get the 5-4-3. It didn't happen. But luckily, Gurriel strikes out and Kirk pops out. So you take it. Bases loaded, no out. Blue Jays only ended up with 1 run. So a really good job by Tyone to work out of that. We head to the bottom of the 4th. And with 1 out, Anthony Rizzo gets a single. Good hustle. Nice play by Bichette, but good hustle by Rizzo to beat it out. And then LeMahieu gets a single and good base running by Rizzo to go to third. First and third, no out. 0-2 pitch to Gleyber Torres, and he deposits it out. Opposite field, 3-run homer for Gleyber Torres, his 5th of the year. And when Gleyber's going to the opposite field, good things happen. That's his natural swing. When he tries to pull the ball, it doesn't work out. But when he tries to hit it the other way, that swing is made for Yankee Stadium. You kind of remember, again, I still am of the belief this is not someone that's going to hit many home runs. I mean, 5 already is a pretty good sign. I mean, if he signed out with 20 home runs, I would sign up for that in a second. I don't think that'll happen. I think at best you're looking at 15, just personally. But Gleyber, showing some pop, and that's a good thing. So a big 3-run homer for Gleyber Torres. And we go to the 6th, and it was good hustle by Teoscar Hernandez, who beats out a ground ball to DJ LeMahieu. I wish LeMahieu was a little bit quicker getting it over to first, but good hustle by Hernandez, and he beats it out. And so right there, it is a runner on first. With 1 out, Alejandro Kirk singles, so it's first and third, and that's it for Tyone. Tyone goes 5 1/3 and is responsible for those 2 runners. Then Michael King comes on, who had struggled in his last start. His last outing. And King, in this one, didn't look great either, as Matt Chapman hits a deep sac fly. Luckily, that's all it was, and that makes it 3-2. So it's 3-2 Yanks. And then there's a play where Espinal hits a ground ball to Kiner-Falefa. it's an error, but he does a good job in throwing it to Torres at second, and Alejandro Kirk kind of stumbles, and Gleyber tags him out. So an alert play by Connor Falefa and Torres, where a bad play turns into a good play, and the inning is over. But the Yankees score again, and it's that same combination. It's a one-out Rizzo walk, and then a double by LeMahieu. This Rizzo, LeMahieu, Torres trio was really the offense today. And Trevor Richards, like I said, that matchup that worked out in game one, he comes on to face Torres, and Torres gets him this time with a key two-run single to give the Yanks a 5-2 lead. That was very big. So 5 RBIs for Torres, and now Torres has 18 on the season. That's very good. 18 RBIs for Torres at this stage is very good. Michael King singled to Tapia, strikeout Springer, singled to Bichette, and he's out of the game. So King with not the best outing, but Clay Holmes comes on, and I've said this, Clay Holmes, in what I believe is the best bullpen in the league, he is the best pitcher in that bullpen. Clay Holmes is amazing, and he gets Guerrero as the tying run to ground into a double play. That's just what he does. So, and then in the 8th, does a really good job. It should have been a 1-2-3 inning, but Connor Falefa makes a throwing error with 2 outs, but Holmes, no problem, dusts it off, and Chapman grounds out, and so that ends the inning. So we go to the 9th, 5-2, and Chapman would give up his first, or it doesn't feel this way, but this would be the first earned run that Chapman would give up. He got into trouble early, but I will say he definitely bounced back. Leadoff double, Santiago Espinal. A wild pitch moves him over to third, and Vinny Capra, who pinch hit for Tapia, he walks him. Like, you cannot do that with the top of the Blue Jay order coming up, but he does. And so I'm thinking, here we go. But really, Chapman, like I said, it wasn't like smoke and mirrors. He was throwing the fastball for a strike, which was very encouraging. Springer, sac fly. And I thought Springer was a little too aggressive in this at-bat, but Springer, sac fly. Yankees will take that. And then Bichette strikes out on a 100-mile-per-hour fastball, and then Guerrero pops out. So the Yankees win it 5-3. Like I said, 22-8. There's some distance between the Yanks and the Rays and the Blue Jays right now, but it's so early. But it is still nice to have that. And now the Yankees head to Chicago to face the White Sox, who did not play today. Cleveland Guardians had a COVID issue. We'll see if that affects this Yankee-White Sox series. I don't think it will. I think the White Sox, I would assume that this will go along as scheduled. But for the Yanks, it will be Luis Gil starting because of the rainouts over the weekend. The Yankees had – I thought it would be Clark Schmidt, but it's Gil, who was good last year when called upon. It's been a rough year for Gil in AAA, but his last start was very good. So with Gil, there's high upside. It's just a command issue. Like, you just hope that he doesn't walk a lot of the White Sox. But I think, I'm excited to see what Gil can do because, like I said, there's definite potential with him. And then, you're back to Cole, Montgomery, Cortez to finish it out. So this will be a good test against a White Sox team that is underachieved. They're 15-14, but they're better than that. This should be a team that I think when it's all said and done, even though the Twins are winning the Central, I think the White Sox will. So count this as a series that's a good test. The Yankees did very well against the White Sox last year. So hopefully they can continue that. And again, if you split these 4 games, completely fine with that. With where the Yankees are at right now, I will have no issues. And if you win 3 out of 4, that is awesome. So again, good times for the Yanks, winning again in 7 straight series victories and 2 fun wins against the Toronto Blue Jays. And now they head on the road to face the Chicago White Sox.